So how can precision technology make your operation more efficient? Well, this week we're going to find out. We're here at Royal Winchester Golf Club and we're going to do some mowing with a fairway mower with guidance and without guidance and compare the two data sets. I'm Craig Woodman at Hunt Forest Group, and this week I'm going to be operating this machine mowing with and without guidance. What we're going to do now is talk you through some of the kit that we've got on the machine. So a little bit on the setup that we're going to be using this week. We've got a John Deere 7700 AE fairway mower, so the electrically driven units. We're going to be using a G5 universal screen, an AutoTrac universal 300 wheel, and a Starfire 7500 with RTK accuracy. So how are we going to make sure it's fair? Well, both days we're going to be mowing at 15mm on the fairways. We're going to set the tech control up before we do anything, so the controls are identical for day one and day two, along with forward speed, mow speed, everything that tech control encompasses. We're also going to have all the fairways mapped beforehand, so that on day two I can just come up as you would normally and pick your track and off you go. So this is what we're going to be using to map our fairways ahead of time. It's the same receiver, it's the same screen. We can move them across machines as we already know. Now, why is this important? It's quick, it's efficient, but it's also accurate. We can set up in the controls to make sure that we're mapping to within 2cm accuracy. So how are we going to make sure it's fair? We're going to be starting at 5 o'clock both mornings, and we're going to take exactly the same route. Consistency is key if this data is going to be reliable. So now we've been out, we've calibrated the machine, made sure everything's working as it should be. All that's left to do now is go mowing. So here we are, day one at Royal Winchester, due to go mowing. We've been here since 5 o'clock. It's now about 20 to 7, and as you can see, the frost has come down. So we're not immune to the challenges that greenkeepers face on a day-to-day basis, and this is one of them. So we'll monitor the situation and see how we go. So after day one, we were mowing for a total of 5 hours and 4 minutes, although we didn't actually get started until about 7:30 due to the frost delay. But undeterred, we geared ourselves up and ready to go again the next day.
So how can we save money on your golf course or your fine turf applications? We're going to show you that in this case study that we're doing here at Royal Winchester Golf Club. So our aim is to show you guys how using John Deere technologies can save you guys time, fuel and machine hours by driving the machine more efficiently to 2.5cm accuracy. This is technology that's been proven for years in agriculture, and we've been using these technologies for over 20 years now. So we're well versed with using this technology and training our customers on how to get the best out of it. With this connected machine with auto steer, we can actually remotely dial into the machine. It's called remote display access, or RDA. And then we start, the operator then accepts that I can view his screen, and as you can see, we can see live what's happening on his screen, and you can see the area painted here is the area that he's covered, and you can see the machine moving through. That purple pink line is the boundary of the fairway, and then you can see the straight lines are the actual AutoTrac lines.
So as we were saying on day one, due to the frost delay, we couldn't get going until 7:30. That meant that we actually missed 4 fairways and couldn't cut them. So for day 2, we tried to stick as close as possible, and we left the same 4 fairways. And working on an average basis, we were able to determine that we were looking at around a 43-minute time saving across the 2 days. So on day 2, mowing with the guidance would have been averagely about 43 minutes quicker and more efficient. We wanted this data to be as reliable as possible, so much so that 2 months later we felt compelled to go back so that we could cover the whole case study from start to finish, mowing on every single fairway rather than taking averages. This also included striping rather than block cutting, which would give us another different set of data that we could use. Upon returning, weather conditions were absolutely perfect in July, and the case study couldn't have gone any better. The data is about as reliable as we possibly ever could have got it. Managed to start bang on time both days with no interruption from golf catching us up or any adverse effects. We were able to crack straight on and get everything finished in a really, really good time. As we also said, this time round we were striping rather than block cutting, which gave us another little bit of a data set to look at. So originally, when we were taking averages, we looked at about a 43-minute saving. Now, this time around, when striping, we got down to a 36-minute saving, but that was over mowing all 14 fairways, which totals just over 10.04 hectares. So that's averaging a productivity rate of 2.4 hectares an hour, which we feel is pretty good. Now, that could be upped because that wasn't at full speed on the tech control. Just to reiterate, the tech control, we set the forward speed, the turn speed, the transport speed, everything exactly the same for both days. But of course, also the benefit with tech control is that every operator mows exactly the same. So we didn't want to be flat out everywhere. We went at the right speed to suit the conditions. So as you can see from the display here in Operations Centre, we started mowing at exactly 5 AM. We picked the same route for both days. We made good progress without any interruptions. Weather was fantastic. We could see where we were going, and it's also important to remember that though we were striping this time around, we striped in the same direction both days. So absolutely everything was exactly the same. We had absolutely no interruptions, got back to the shed after day 1 and around 6 hours, just over 6 hours in total to mow the 10 hectares. And then also, as you can see from day 2, this was mowing with the guidance, obviously, shorter amount of time, around a 36-minute saving. Again, conditions were exactly the same. We mowed in the same direction. We started it exactly bang on 5 o'clock. The data from this is completely reliable. There's nothing that we could do to validate this anymore. And as you can see, we got back to the shed about 36 minutes quicker than the day before. So to wrap up the case study and start to look at some financial ways and means in which case how this technology can benefit our customers and the sorts of savings that they can be looking to achieve. The first thing to remember here, it's really important, this really is a worst case scenario. So myself, greenkeeping, 8.5, nearly 9 years, have cut fairways loads and loads of times. So it was really important to us to make sure that this data was as valid as possible, as we've said several times. So that's another way in which that we've made sure that we could see the savings and the time savings in the most efficient way possible. So the fuel savings that we've seen between day 1 and day 2 were 2.22 litres difference between day 1 and day 2. So mowing with guidance uses 2.25 litres less fuel than the day before. Now that might not sound like a lot, but when you add that up across a year, mowing any number of different times, so we would say perhaps on an average 40 times a year, that is looking at a substantial saving. Not only that, but it's the labour and the hours on the machine too. So with half an hour over 10 hectares, with every hour counting towards service intervals and wear and tear and depreciation on machines, that's another really important factor. And of course, productivity going up as well. So the hours that machine is in use, it's working at the maximum capabilities of it. So naturally, with all this technology, there does come a cost, but we really feel that by completing this case study, we are demonstrating the value that it really can deliver for our customers. It's absolutely impossible to put a headline figure on top of how much this is going to save individual customers, because individual customers' overheads are completely different. But we hope that we can demonstrate to you by giving you these figures, 36-ish minutes saving over 10 hectares of fairways. You guys yourselves can compute that and put that into figures that is relevant for your site. The way that this technology is becoming more and more mainstream with each and every day, the feasibility of owning it and having it and putting it on greenkeeping and other sports turf equipment is just getting higher and higher all the time. We hope that we've been able to prove to you guys by doing this case study that you can see the benefits of technology as we move into the future. And please reach out to your local sales rep or any member of the Precision Technologies team for more information.